Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. And today we'll be discussing the NEET previous year questions for the chapter Living World. And along with it, we'll also discuss some very important multiple choice questions which are related to this chapter, the Living World. Before starting this lecture, just want to give you one information that the images, text and other materials used in our presentation are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So what are the objectives? What we will learn today? So here we will understand the core concepts which are related to the chapter Living World. So we will understand these concepts by discussing, by answering, by solving the multiple choice questions. So these multiple choice questions or PYQs, they are based on a certain concepts. So we will understand these concepts. So that's why it is very necessary to solve these PYQs and multiple choice questions. So in this lecture, we'll be discussing multiple choice questions. All will be objective type questions here. Let's begin with the first question. So what is the first question here? As we go from species to kingdom in a taxonomic hierarchy, the number of common characteristics. So here, what concept this question is based upon, first of all? So here they are talking about taxonomic hierarchy. So there is a ranking system. Hierarchy means there is a ranking system. So all the taxonomic categories, they are arranged in ascending order, or you can say descending order. And a particular rank is given to a particular taxonomic category. So this is known as taxonomic hierarchy. There is a ranking system. And how you group these organisms into various categories. So in classification, what is done? The living organism, they are grouped into various categories based on similar characteristics. So each category is known as a taxon. And each taxon represents a rank. Okay, so here they are asking, when you go from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristic or the number of shared characteristic, do they decrease? Option number is decrease, B's will increase, C is remain same, and D's may increase or decrease. So what will be the answer for this question? So let's have a look at the answer for this question. So answer is option number A, the shared characteristic, the common characteristic will decrease. So option number A is the correct answer here. Now let's have a look at the explanation. Lower the taxa, more are the number of shared characteristics within the members of the taxon. So species, you know, it is the lowest most taxon. It is the lowest category. So species is a very specific group. And the number of shared characteristics are maximum within the members of the species. As you move from species to genus, to family, to order, to class, and then to phylum or division, and finally to kingdom, the number of common characteristics, they keep on decreasing. Because the categories, they are becoming more broad now. So for example, if we take example of Kingdom Animalia or Kingdom Plante. So these are very broad categories. Like Kingdom Animalia, it includes all the animals, terrestrial animals, aquatic animals, okay, vertebrates, invertebrates. If we talk about Kingdom Plante, it includes all the plants, okay, algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperms. So at a higher level, the number of shade characteristics are minimum. Okay, for example, if we talk about again Kingdom Animalia, all the animals, they are grouped together based on multicellularity. This is the common feature. All are multicellular. Okay, but they are different. The animals are different in the other characteristic. The only similar characteristic is there is multicellular. This is a very broad characteristic. This is a very general characteristic. Okay, they are all multicellular. Okay, that's why the number of similarities at higher taxon, it is very less. A number of similarities at the lowermost taxa is more. Clear? So lower the taxa, more are the number of shared characteristics within the members of the taxon. Okay, so lowest taxon, which is species, it will share the maximum number of morphological similarities. Now, as we move towards the higher hierarchy, okay, such as class or kingdom, the similarity decreases because these are quite broad categories. Now, let's discuss this question. Which of the following suffix used for units of classification in plants indicates a taxonomic category of family? Okay. So here they are talking about the suffix. So suffix are usually written at the end of any word. So there is a prefix and there is a suffix. So prefix, they are written before the word, and suffix, they are written after the words. So here they're talking about the suffix first of all. Then they are talking about the plants here. And then they are talking about a taxonomic category, which is family. So how, basically they are asking, how will you write a family? How the family name ends? So what are the options here? Option number A is ales, B is on A, C is AC, and D is AE. So what will be the answer for this question? Let's have a look at the answer for this question. Okay, the correct answer is option number C, AC, ACEAE. Let's have a look at the explanation. Now, names of the family. So family is a taxon. So family in case of plants, it always ends with the suffix AC. For example, Solanaceae, Canaceae, and Poaceae. So you can see here the suffix AC is being used here. So name of the family, they end with the suffix AC. Now suffix ales is used for the taxon order. So these are these categories: species, genus, family, okay, then order, class, phylum, or division, or kingdom. These are all taxons or taxonomic categories. So ales is a suffix used for the taxon order, while suffix ae is used for the class. And suffix ONAE are not used in any of the taxons. Now let's discuss this question. The term systematics refers to what? So this question is based on the systematics. So what is the definition of systematic? or what does systematics include, or what is the basis of systematics. So remember, systematics is different from taxonomy. If you know the difference between systematics and taxonomy, you can answer this question. So what are the options here? Option number A is indication, identification and study of organ systems. So organ systems are like digestive system, excretory system. So does systematics includes identification and study of the organ systems? Then option number B is identification and preservation of plants and animals. So does systematics includes identification and then preservation of these plant and animals? Okay. Or conservation of these plant and animals. Okay. So some of the plants, they are going to extinct. They are endangered or they are at the risk of extinction. So these can be preserved. These should be preserved. These should be conserved. So is this the basis of systematics? Then option number D is diversity of kinds of organisms and their relationship. Diversity of kind of organism means they're talking about the various life forms present on the earth, or simply you can say biodiversity. So biodiversity includes number and type of organisms. Okay, so diversity of kind of organisms and relationship among these organisms. So what is the relationship between these organisms? Basically here they're talking about the evolutionary relationship. Means how similar are these organisms? So you know the present day organisms, they are quite similar to each other, and they are also similar to the organism which existed millions of years ago. So by you can say paleontological studies. So paleontology means study of the fossils. So this provides evidence of the evolution, that evolution is occurring. How we know evolution is occurring? So one of the evidence is by studying the fossils. So these fossils, they are the dead remains of the living organism which existed millions of years ago. So by studying fossils, okay, you get to know that there are certain similarities between organism which exist millions of years ago and the organism which exists today. So means evolution is occurring. There was a certain common ancestor, and from this common ancestor, the new species emerged. So these species 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the descendants of this common ancestor. Then option number D is study of habitats of organisms and their classification. Habitat of organism, which area they are living, what environment they are living in, and their classification. So the term systematic refers to what? What will be the answer for this question? Let's have a look at the answer here. Answer is option number C here, diversity of kinds of organisms and their relationship. Let's have a look at the explanation. Now the word systematics has been derived from the Latin word systema, meaning systematic arrangement of the organism. Now Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as the title of his publication. And systematics, it describes the diversity of organism and their relationship at every level of organization. Okay, relationship at every level of organization means what? At the molecular level, at the genetic level, morphological level, any level of organization. Okay, so systematics also includes, okay, if we compare systematics and taxonomy, what is the difference? Systematics, it also includes the evolutionary relationship among the organisms. Okay, that's why the correct answer is diversity of kind of organism and their relationship. Now let's discuss this question. Genus represents what? So genus is a taxonomic category. It is a taxon. Okay, so genus represents what? What are the options here? Option number A is an individual plant or animal. Does genus represents a single plant or an animal? Then option B is collection of plants or animals. It's a group of plants or animals. Then option number C is group of closely related species of plants or animals. Okay. Here they are saying genus is a group of closely related species. Means the species within the genus, they are closely related, means they have similar characteristics as compared to the species included in some another genre. And option number D is none of the above. So what will be the correct answer here? Okay, so let's have a look at the answer. So here the correct answer is option number C, a group of closely related species of plants or animals. This is the correct answer. So let's have a look at the explanation. So genus is an assemblage of closely related species. It is a group of closely related species with more characteristic in common as compared to species of other genera. So what does this mean? So this means that the species which are included in the genus, these species have common characteristic. They are very similar to each other. They share, you can say, similar characteristic. They share common characteristic. Okay. And they are different from the species present in the another genus. That's why it is written, it is a group of related species with more characteristic in common as compared to species of other genera. So it is very important to write group of closely related species. Okay. If you talk about order, you say it is a group of closely related families. If you talk about class, you say it is a group of closely related order. So closely related word you have to write. Let's discuss this question. The taxonomic unit phylum in the classification of animals is equivalent to which hierarchical level in the classification of the plants? Okay. So phylum is a taxonomic category in the classification of animals. So in case of animals, we use phylum. Okay. So in case of plants, what does we use? Instead of phylum, what do we use in case of plants? So the question is, the taxonomic unit phylum in the classification of animals is equivalent to which hierarchical level in classification of the plants? So what are the options? Option number A is class, B is order, C is division, and D is family. So what will be the correct answer for this question? Let's have a look at the answer here. Option number C, division, is the correct answer. Let's have a look at the explanation here. So division is inclusive of all classes with similar characteristic of a group of organism. So we use division in case of plants instead of phylum. Phylum we use in the case of animals. For example, phylum Chordata. Okay, clear? So what is division? Like if you talk about phylum, phylum is below kingdom and it is above class. Okay, so division is also below kingdom and it is above class. Or you can say division is again an assemblage or group of related classes. Here it is written with few similar characteristic. So why they are writing few similar characteristic here? Because division is a broad category. It is a higher taxon. It is at higher level. Okay. So as you move from species to kingdom, the number of shared characteristic decreases, number of similarity decreases. So that's why they are writing division is a group of classes with few similar characteristics. Obviously, there will be similar characteristics, but these similar characteristics will be few. So division is equivalent to phylum used in the case of animals. Now let's discuss this question. All living organisms are linked to one another because. So what does this mean? This means the living organisms, they are quite similar to each other. Some have morphological similarities. Okay. Why do they have these similarities? What is the reason of these similarities? Okay. So why they are linked to each other? So everything is controlled by the genetic makeup of the organism, or you can say everything is controlled by the genes, because genes, which are made up of DNA, they code for a particular protein, and this protein is responsible for a particular phenotype. So organisms are linked to one another because, so what are the options here? Option number A, they have common genetic material of the same type. Okay, means the genetic material is same here. Same type of genetic material is present in all the organisms. Then what is option number B? They share common genetic material but to varying degrees. Means they are sharing the genetic material, but 100% of the genetic material is not same. They are only sharing a proportion of the genetic material, or you can say only a proportion of genetic material is similar. Okay. So they are sharing the genetic material. They have a common genetic material, but to varying degrees. There are some differences also. Not 100% of the genetic material, or you can say the genetic makeup is same. Option number C, all have common cellular organization. They have same cellular organizations. Okay. Clear? Then D is all of the above. So what will be the correct answer for this question? So here, let's have a look at the answer here. So answer is option number B here. Okay. So B is the correct answer. What is option number B? They share common genetic material but to varying degrees. Means they have similar genetic material, not same genetic material. So the proportion of certain proportion of the genetic material is same. Suppose say only 95% is same or 90% is same. Rest is different. Clear? So answer is option number B, not option number D, which is all of the above. Now let's have a look at the explanation. Now all living organisms possess a common genetic material, which is DNA. So DNA is a genetic material. Okay, in the higher plants and animals. Earlier RNA was a genetic material. Now DNA is a genetic material. Okay, for example, DNA in bacteria which is a prokaryote. Okay, so bacteria, which is a prokaryote, this is also a lower organism. So it also have a DNA as a genetic material. So in bacteria, DNA is circular. If you talk about plasmid is circular and it is extra chromosomal. While in the case of evolved eukaryotic cells such as plants and animals. So plant and animal cells, these are eukaryotic cells. Bacteria is a prokaryote. Both have DNA as a genetic material, but in bacteria it is circular, and in eukaryotic organisms, including humans, the DNA is long and it is double-stranded helix. So it consists of 2 strands and it is helical. Okay, double helix. Now let's discuss this question. Which of the following is a defining characteristic of living organism? So there are a lot of characteristic features of a living organism, but what is a defining feature of the living organisms? What are the options here? Option number A is growth, B is ability to make sound, C is reproduction, and D is response to the external stimuli. So is growth the defining characteristic of living organism? Then option B, ability to make sound. Option number C, reproduction. And D is respond to external stimuli. Clear? So there are a lot of stimulus present in the environment. So what will be the answer for this question? Okay, let's have a look at the answer here. The correct answer is option number D, response to external stimuli. Okay, and not growth and not reproduction and not ability to produce voice. Respond to external stimuli, this is the defining feature of the living organism. Okay, let's have a look at the explanation now. So growth and reproduction, okay, they are the feature of living organisms, but they are not the defining feature. Let's talk about the growth first. So even the non-living thing like rock, it also grows. So what happens? The sediments, they can accumulate on the surface of the rock, and due to this accumulation of the sediment, the rock size will increase, its mass will increase, its weight will increase. So this is also a kind of growth, its size and biomass is increasing. Okay, because you measure growth in terms of mass also. Clear? So non-living things are also growing. But the difference is that the living things, they grow internally due to cell division. But these non-living things, they are growing externally by the deposition of certain material. So this is the difference. And then reproduction. Okay, like humans, they reproduce by sexual reproduction. Bacteria, they reproduce by asexual reproduction. Okay, then if you talk about viruses, the viruses, they are considered non-living when they are outside the host, they are not reproducing. And when they enter the host, they are then considered as living and then they reproduce. So again, reproduction cannot be a defining feature of living organism because viruses are also reproducing, but inside the host, outside the host, they are dead. Okay. So correct answer will be here, respond to external stimuli. So there are a lot of stimuli in the environment. Like for example, we take up example of plants. So plant, they respond to the light. Okay, this is known as phototropism, movement of the plant in response to light. And then there is thigmotropism, movement of the plant, okay, or part of the plant in response to touch. Then there is gravitropism, movement of the plant or part of the plant in response to the gravity. Clear? So respond to external stimulus is only done by the living organisms. So they respond to the external stimuli or to the environment. in which an organism dwells, and this is the most important characteristic of any living organism. Okay, viruses which are not included under living organisms also show growth as well as reproduction when they are inside the host. Actually, virus, they are the connecting link between the living and the non-living. Here, that's why correct answer is option number D here, and rest other options are false. Now let's discuss the NEET previous year questions now. This question came in 2016. What is the question? Nomenclature is governed by certain universal rules. Which one of the following is contrary to the rules of the nomenclature? This question is regarding the rules of the nomenclature. So scientific names, they are, you can say, written according to the principles and criteria set by some agencies like ICBN and ICZN. And what are the rules of nomenclature? Okay, if you know the rules of nomenclature, then you can say answer this question. So here you have to find out a point or a rule which is contrary to the rules of nomenclature. Option number is biological names can be written in any language. So can scientific name or biological names can be written in any language? Option number B, the first word in a biological name represents the genus name and the second is specific epithet. Then option number C, the names are written in Latin and are italicized. Is it true or false? And option number D, when written by hand, the names are to be underlined. So which of the following is contrary to the rules of nomenclature? So what would be the answer for this question? Okay, so let's have a look at the answer here. The correct answer is biological names can be written in any language. This is contrary to the rules of nomenclature. Biological names or scientific names cannot be written in any language. They are always written in Latin, irrespective of their origin. So let's have a look at the explanation now. Now, binomial nomenclature. This was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, so according to binomial nomenclature, each biological name or every biological name have two components or two parts. First one is the generic name, next one is the specific epithet. The generic name represents the genus and specific epithet represents the species. Okay, and the scientific names, they are written in Latin, and if they are printed, then they are italicized, and if they are handwritten, then they are underlined separately. Then the name of the genus starts with a capital letter, and the species name, specific epithet, it starts with a small letter. So binomial nomenclature is a formal system of naming species of living things by giving each a name composed of two parts, both of which use Latin grammatical forms, although they can be based on words from other languages. Okay, so basically they are written in Latin. You have to remember this. Now let's discuss this question. It is much easier for a small animal to run uphill than a large animal because. Okay, so they are saying that a small sized animal, it can run uphill faster or very easily. It can move uphill very easily as compared to the large sized animal. So this is because of what? What are the options here? Option number A is it is easier to carry a small body weight. Okay. Now option B, smaller animals have higher metabolic rate. So metabolism, what is metabolism? all the biochemical reactions, the combination of all the, or the sum of all the biochemical reactions that are occurring in the body, that is metabolism. So like respiration is a kind of metabolic activities. In respiration, what happens? The respiratory substrate, such as glucose, this is broken down to produce energy. Clear? Then option number C, small animals having lower oxygen requirement. So do small animals have lower oxygen requirement? Because they have small size body. Then option number D, the efficiency of muscles in large animals is less than in the small animals. Here they are talking about the muscle efficiency. So what would be the correct answer for this question? So what will be the answer for this question? Okay, answer is option number B, smaller animals have higher metabolic rate. So if they have higher metabolic rate, then they will produce more energy. Let's have a look at the explanation. Now the basal metabolic rate is inversely proportional to the body size. So if the body size is small, then the metabolic rate will be high. If the body size is big or large, then the metabolic rate will be less. So they are inversely proportional. So smaller animals have higher metabolic rate. Okay, they will produce more energy. Hence, production of energy is more due to high metabolism. Okay, energy is produced in the form of ATP. And ATP is again broken down to carry out all the activities such as locomotion. Now let's discuss this question. You have to select the correctly written scientific name of mango, which was first described by Carolus Linnaeus. So mango, you all know what is the scientific name of mango. It is Mangifera indica. And the name of the author is written after the specific epithet. Okay. And that too in the abbreviated form. So you have to choose the correct way of writing the scientific name of mango. So what are the options here? Option B is Mangifera indica, Carolus Linn. Okay, Carlin. The name of the author is written in abbreviated form. B is Mangifera indica Linn. Then C is Mangifera indica and this has not been italicized. And D is Mangifera indica here. Here they have written species name. Okay, species name is starting with a capital letter, capital I. So what will be the correct answer here? Well, let's have a look at the answer here. So answer is option number B, Mangifera indica Linn. This is the correct answer. Okay, so here the author name is written after the specific epithet and that too in abbreviated form. And only Linn is written, not Carolus. Carolus is not written. Abbreviation of Carolus is not written. Only the abbreviation of Linnaeus is written here. And you can see the biological name, the scientific name of mango has been italicized. The genus name is starting with a capital letter M and the species name is starting with the small letter I. Here let's have a look at the explanation now. According to the rules of binomial nomenclature, correctly written scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica Linn. So this system of nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay. So according to binomial nomenclature, bi means two. Each scientific name will have two components. It will have two parts: generic name and specific epithet. Generic name represents the genus, specific epithet represents the species. And this system, binomial nomenclature, this is widely accepted by the biologists. Scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. This is the correct way of writing the scientific name of mango. Here, Mangifera indicates the genus, while indica represents a particular species or specific epithet, and Lin indicates the biologist Linnaeus, who first described the species of mango. So, the author or the person who described the species, his name is written after the specific epithet. Now, let's discuss this question. Which one of the following belongs to the family Mucidae? So, you can see you can get this type of question also, where they are asking you, okay, that to which family do these organisms belong? Okay, sometimes they can ask you like to which, you can say family does human belong, or to which family does housefly belong? Okay, to which family do grasshopper or firefly belong, or which order do they belong? But which phylum do they belong? Clear? So what are the options here? Option A is housefly, B is firefly, C is grasshopper, and D is cockroach. So cockroach and grasshopper, these are insects. Clear? Insects belong to phylum Arthropoda. What is the meaning of Arthropoda? Jointed appendages. Then here you can see housefly and firefly, they have also given. Okay, to which phylum do they belong? Okay, and which of them belongs to family Mucidae? So what will be the correct answer here? So here, what will be the correct answer here? Let's have a look at the correct answer. So correct answer here is option number A, housefly. Clear? So again, you can see this is a very straightforward question here. So you can get this straightforward question. Clear? Now let's have a look at the explanation. Okay. So housefly also belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. It is an arthropod. Okay. So housefly, what is the scientific name of housefly? Musa domestica. It belongs to the family Mucidae. Okay. Clear? It belongs to the class Insecta and order Diptera. And obviously the phylum is Arthropoda. Okay, here Musa is the generic name representing a genus. Domestica is the specific epithet, represents the species. Here you can see here Musa, this is written capital, starts with the capital M here. The species name starts with a small letter here, okay, which is small d. Now let's discuss this question in the taxonomic categories. Which hierarchical arrangement in ascending order is correct in the case of animals? So they're talking about the animals here first of all, not the plants. Okay, because we use phylum in case of animals, division in case of plants. Then they have given you these taxonomic categories. So these are all taxonomic categories, or you can say these are all taxa, and these are obviously hierarchically arranged. So they have been given different ranks. They have been given different, you can say there are different levels of each of these categories. Okay, so you have to arrange them in the ascending order. Okay, so these are the four options A, B, C, D. You have to choose the correct answer from these options. So what will be the correct answer? So let's have a look at the answer here. The correct answer is option number D. Let's have a look at the explanation now. Taxonomical studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum, or division in case of plants, class, order, family, genus, and species. So we cannot study each and every organism. So that's why we need to classify them into various groups. And what is the need of the classification? So there is a lot of biodiversity. So in order to manage this biodiversity, we need to classify them. The first aim of classification is to manage the diversity, manage the different life forms present on the earth. And then by grouping them into various categories, then we can easily study them, because we are grouping them into various categories based on similar characteristics. Okay, so here kingdom is the highest taxon. Here, then below kingdom you have phylum, then below phylum you have class, then below class you have order, then family, then genus, then species is the lowest most taxon. So species is a very specific category, kingdom is a very broad category. And as you move from species to kingdom, the number of similar characteristic decreases. Okay, this is clear. So this is, you can see a hierarchy here. So these are rankings. So each taxon, so this is each taxon. Kingdom is a taxon, phylum, class, order, family, genus. These are all taxonomic categories. These are various groups, and these are also known as a taxa. So each one of it is a taxa or a taxon, and taxon represents a particular rank. Species is at the lowest rank. Kingdom is as the highest rank. Above kingdom, you have domain also, but we are not talking about the domain here. Clear? So what is species? Species is a group of individuals which have similar characteristic. They have similar morphological characteristic. They can interbreed with each other, and they are reproductively isolated from the members of other species. So species has been defined in many ways. Okay, so species have been defined according to morphological species concept, then biological species concept, then ecological species concept, then phylogenetic species concept. Okay, then you have the genus, which is you can say higher taxa as compared to species. Okay, genus is a group of closely related species. Then family, it is a group of closely related genus. Then order, it is a group of closely related family. Then class, it is a group of closely related orders. Then phylum, it is a group of various classes having few similar characteristics. Okay, clear? Then you have the phylum. Phylum is a higher category as compared to class. So phylum includes similar, you can say phylum include classes with which have few similar characteristics, and then kingdom includes phylum with again few similar characteristics. Okay, kingdom is the broadest, you can say, category. It is the highest category. All right, so you should remember this. Clear? And you use division in case of plants and phylum in case of animals. Okay, so this was the end of this session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. Thank you very much for listening.